comment section?
Yeah, I think you're an establishment liberal, like definitely pro-Israel. You're pro-State Department.
So
You agree
yeah,
with all
so
that?
like again, like I've talked to you like 100 million times. But like, what was
Yeah,
that?
but
What
you
was up?
still like
What was up with that comment in my comment section just now?
what I say.
Well, no, I'm asking you. You know what you said.
Oh, I was just trolling to get up here, beta. I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. All right, get the fuck
Like
out
you're a
of here. Bro, come on. Don't be like, dude's putting like crazy comments in my comment section. I don't like that shit. If you're a Trump supporter, let me know. The ominous 8. Is that what the ominous 8? Is there a new name here? The ominous 8 is kind of interesting. If you're a Trump supporter, just let me know in the comments or request up. It's easier to bring you up in the comments, but I appreciate everyone being here. Truly, it's good to see everyone. I hope everyone's having a good Wednesday. Okay. Trump won. You're right. But notice how, like, in 2022, you were still saying, like, Trump won the 2020 elections. Kind of the difference between you and I. I was in your dream last night, Bella. Hello?
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
How old are you?
30s.
Okay. What do you think about my prompt?
Yeah, I want to ask you a couple questions if you don't mind.
Shoot.
Yeah. Um, what is the purpose of you doing this? What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, sure. So, I think that in general, like people who are like I think, and take this with a grain of salt, but roughly 70% of Americans haven't watched cable, more than 30 minutes of cable news in the last 30 days. Most people are getting their news from like social media sites, etc. I think like lives and debates have become more popular. First of all, I enjoy it. I like debating. But also, I think that it's important for people to like understand truly the extent of how bad Donald Trump was, especially with like the threats to our democracy and trying to overthrow an election. He didn't win with evidence. He didn't win it. And I think that something we need to do when Trump gets in office, because the lines in Congress are so thin, public pressure is going to be key to like making sure Donald Trump doesn't get a lot of his main things that he wants to get done. And so, like, I think people being informed and understanding, especially in one of the biggest things I'm passionate about, is like the risk of, again, losing democracy. And the more people who like come across these lives and listen to me debate, I hope that they, I don't know, maybe get more active in their communities or are aware of like some of those threats. Also, I just have fun doing it.
Yeah. Do you think you're objective?
Do I think I'm objective?
Yeah. Do you think that you are just telling objective truth, or are you representing a specific side?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I'm a raging Democrat, but
Right.
in terms of like, I don't think that there's many people in touch. I don't. If you have a grasp on politics, even if you're a raging conservative, it's a pretty fucking lukewarm take to say Donald Trump is one of the worst presidents ever. Like most people who
How do you
understand
judge that?
what.
How do you
Yeah,
judge
sure,
words?
sure. So,
You have a metric?
yeah, sure. So really quickly before I get to that, like a good example would be, and again, I know I'm appealing to authority here, but just for the conversation, like, 100 and I don't know how many, like 60, political scholars and historians and people who teach at a lot of different universities around the country, they get together every 4 years and rank the presidents. They say, and they all do it independently and then come together and score it. Joe Biden was 14th, Obama was maybe 9th, Donald Trump was last. And I think that,
Okay.
I like people often think that this is like rage bait or me bullshitting. But again, the reason it says Donald Trump is one of the worst presidents ever is because, I'm not, it's not my, I don't know enough to be like arguing, things like objective morality and whether like Andrew Jackson was a pretty fucking bad president. He did the Trail of Tears, and like morally, that's worse than things Donald Trump did, or certain presidents were like owned slaves, etc. So we could like have a conversation around morality, but easily he's one of the worst presidents because he's I would argue the most selfish president in American history. Probably the only president who consistently cares more about himself than the will of
Do
the
you think
American
that's, yeah, sorry to cut you off,
he
but do you
cares
think
he
it's
cares he
selfish?
cares more about himself than the will of the American people, and that's
Yeah.
most easily proven by him trying to overthrow an election.
So a couple things. One, you said that he's one of the worst based off of a group of people that came together and made a
No,
list.
no. I literally said that was an appeal to authority. I was just giving you an
Why do you
example.
mention that?
Well, I was giving you an
Why is
example
that
for how.
relevant?
Yeah, so I mentioned it because I was giving you an example with like you say like, are you biased? And like I don't think that being a Democrat or Republican really like changes the opinion on this that much. Like most, like again, there's a reason 40 of Donald Trump's 44 cabinet members like didn't endorse him and said he was a disgrace and didn't vote. They're lifelong Republicans, but they know because they're like smart that Donald Trump is like
Well,
a disgrace.
if I talk shit to my employer, does that mean my employer is a bad
Yeah, so
employer?
like I just think you're comparing apples to oranges, right? When we talk about like Donald Trump's chairman of the Joint Chiefs, who's one of the most respected generals in the last 2 decades and served in Vietnam and was in the Situation Room for all 4 years Donald Trump was president, and calls him a dictator and a fascist. I don't think he's just doing that to
Do you
talk
agree with
shit.
him?
Yes, because I
So he's
actually
a dictator? How is
that
he a
he's
dictator?
that he's dictator-esque. Yes,
How is
yes.
he, what is
So again,
dictator-esque per
and
se?
again, before we get into that conversation, I do want to point out that the people who are calling Donald Trump a dictator and a fascist are the people closest to him. Like his,
Right, so do you agree with him is the point. Do you agree with him?
yes, I do.
Okay, based off of what? What's
Yeah,
your evidence? What do you
yeah,
think?
sure. So like, I think that like we have multiple counts of people in the White House at the time. His again top military advisor, his the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, his second national security advisor, his third national security advisor, his there's a million. I could pull up all the quotes.
Right, so if there are people that say good things about him, do you believe that as well, or do you only believe the bad ones?
No, because again, like if you look at the like in United States history, we've never seen something like this. There's never been like an administration that just like falls apart and everyone calls him a disgrace. So I think most of the
Right,
people
but
who
you didn't answer my
can
question.
I feel well, I'm trying to, but you
You've
won't
been
shut
talking
the
the whole
fuck.
time, bro. You've been
All right.
talking the whole
Well, you
time.
keep asking me 100 different questions.
Then
So
you keep going off a monologue.
okay, so
You
why
keep
don't we
going
go
on
back?
different
Why don't you
topics.
just ask me a question? Why do
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
trying to.
Donald Trump is dictator-esque? Yeah,
No,
sure.
well, first of all, what I asked you is you said that XYZ person said this in his cabinet,
Yes.
therefore that you believe that. I'm saying if there are people who said good things, do you believe the good things or you only believe the bad
No,
things?
because I think the people who said the bad things outweigh the people who said the good things.
Okay, well, what is the metric on that?
Yeah,
How do you know?
sure. Like 40 of
What
his
is the number?
44 hand-selected cabinet didn't endorse him, and like most of the people closest to him like called him a disgrace and left him. There's not as many
Most of the
people.
people?
Yeah.
How many, what's the number on that?
Yeah, I just said 40 of his 44 cabinet members, but there's far more in the White House. I'm more than happy to start reading a list for you. Is that what you want? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm waiting. You say you're gonna pull something up or whatever.
Oh, I'm asking, do you want me to like start reading quotes?
Yeah, if you want, you can, yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, great. Fantastic. So obviously his and again, I think that like in when we look at this from a historical lens, like this has never happened before. It's not often that like a president runs with a different vice president than his original, because his original said, Donald Trump was a disgrace and asked me to put him over the Constitution, right?
Okay.
So his vice president, his second attorney general, quote, someone who engaged in that type of bullying about a process that is fundamental to our system and our self-government shouldn't be anywhere near the Oval Office. His first secretary of defense, quote, Donald Trump is the first president.
Did they get fired by any chance?
These are direct quotes, by the way.
Did they get fired?
Can I finish speaking?
Did they get fired?
Donald Trump is the first president in my lifetime who does not try to unite the American people, does not even pretend to try. Instead, he tries to divide us. His second secretary of defense, quote, I think he's unfit for office. He puts himself before countries. His actions are all about him and not about the country. As chairman of the Joint Chiefs, we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator. We take an oath to the Constitution, and we take an oath to the idea that is America. We're willing to die to protect it. His first secretary of state, Trump's understanding of global events, his understanding of global history, his understanding of U.S. history was really
they get fired, bro.
limited. His second national security
Were they
advisor,
fired?
we saw the absence of leadership. His third national security advisor, I believe foreign leaders think Donald Trump is a laughing fool. His second chief of staff, quote, a person that has nothing but contempt for our democratic institutions, our Constitution, and the rule of law. It goes on and on and on.
Were they fired?
Yeah, so like again, I
Answer the question. Were they fired?
I don't know.
Okay, so if you don't know, you don't think that people get fired have usually a bad thing to say about their employer?
because again, like you're giving like the arguments you're giving don't I
It's
think
not. I'm asking you a question. It's not an argument. I'm saying were they
no, I
fired?
don't think that them being fired, if they were fired,
Of course it does.
no, I don't think it does.
If someone fires you, you
Yeah.
have a bad image.
Yeah. So can I explain something? A lot of the people who were fired by Trump and said these things say it because usually a president, just because somebody in their cabinet disagrees with them, they're not supposed to be fired.
How do you know
right?
that's why they got fired?
Because we have plenty of evidence that
What's the evidence? Were you there?
I'm trying to get there. So, like, for example, a good example of this would be like Donald Trump during his first term. There was 3 retired military generals who testified to the House at the time, saying that they disagreed with some of what, I don't know, something about what Donald Trump was doing at the time militarily. And Donald Trump would go on to strip all 3 of their national security clearances. That was a big deal at the time because that's very dictator-esque. That's not something.
Okay, was he wrong by doing that?
Well, yeah, most people would
How do you
argue
know that?
you don't shut the fuck up. Just hold on. Most people would
Be
argue.
respectful, little kid.
All right, so you're getting angry. Most people would argue.
You're cursing. I'm not angry. You're the one that's cursing.
All right. Most people would argue that in America, like just because a general, for example, comes out and disagrees with the president's notion of what's going on, that you're not going to strip their security clearances. It's almost like it's a sign of like you publicly / privately need to be loyal to me or else. And that's very scary.
Yeah, as a president, you're the leader of everyone.
Yeah, but again, like that's never happened before. Normally, presidents.
Yeah, because you always had weak leaders. That's why you always had weak
so
leaders.
no, that's called bleeding into fascism. I don't think the president should be looking.
So
the
Donald
president,
Trump's a fascist?
Again, yes, that's what his top military advisor would say. He's fascist.
So argument from authority.
Okay, fantastic.
Didn't you say you're not going to appeal to argument?
I just tried to give you multiple examples of him like firing.
Yeah, you're saying this person said this, therefore you believe it's true.
Fantastic. How about then fine, let's actually talk about like substance. What do you think about Donald Trump trying to overthrow an election he didn't win with evidence he didn't win it?
I don't think he was overthrowing an election, no.
Really?
Yeah.
So what was the
By
whole
the way,
thing?
when are you guys going to let that go? And
what was the fake electors plot?
Who became the who was certified?
No. Answer my question.
Who was certified?
Answer the question. What was the fake electors plot?
You tell me.
No, do you not know what it is?
No, you tell me. Let's see how well you know.
No, you don't know what it is.
Well, you should see how well you know.
No, obviously,
why
clearly,
is that
like
relevant?
so. No, it's relevant because you said
This is why the left lost. By the way,
can I finish speaking?
You were speaking the whole time. But go ahead.
It's relevant because it's how he tried to overthrow the election.
Okay.
So what is the fake electors plot?
I don't know. Irrelevant.
Right. So when he sends, like, when I lived in Georgia I pretty much have lived in Georgia my whole life, and 7 different swing states, including Georgia, he sends a group of fake electors with fraudulent documents to go to the Electoral College and say, we certify that the state of Georgia went to Trump. And they were just a random group of people. Multiple of them were charged, including Trump, with trying to, defraud the Georgia state government. And he tried to take away my rights as a citizen. I willed in Georgia my vote to Joe Biden. That also doesn't include him being in the Oval Office and demanding the Department of Justice sign a letter claiming the election, there was election fraud when there wasn't evidence for it, and release it to the American public. Thank you so much for the Galaxy. I appreciate you a lot. When there wasn't evidence for it, and to the DOJ, his own DOJ said, sir, we don't have evidence for that. And 2 DOJ officials resigned over that because.
Yeah, this is just typical talking points that you guys have.
Wait. These aren't, so obvious, like that's.
I've been using for the past 5 years.
So clearly you're not, that was like a massive pivot. You're not engaging at all. Like they're not talking points. There's a fake elector scheme that is very well known, has a lot of testimony around it. People have been charged. So can you?
What I care about is going to be who's the best option.
Okay, so notice how like
you keep. Kamala Harris was a better option.
So do you notice how? Do you notice how?
Clearly wrong about that.
I don't want to have to mute you, bro. Please, I don't.
Bro, you've been talking the whole time.
Well, it's frustrating because you asked me a question. You said I'm appealing to authority when I call him dictator-esque, and then I'm giving you very.
You said
can I finish? I don't want to have to mute you. I don't. I'm giving you very specific examples now of when Donald Trump engaged in illegal schemes to try to overthrow an election, and your response to that was it doesn't matter, and you didn't engage on it at all. You called it talking points. So So can you explain what happened during the fake elector scheme?
What I care about is who's the best person for the country. That's what I care about.
Okay, so why did he try to overthrow the election with a fake elector scheme?
I don't think that he did.
so what all the people charged, and can you like give me evidence for that? Like, why do you not think the fake elector scheme?
You're the one that's making the claim.
No. Now I've explained the fake electors plot to you, and now you're just saying I don't agree, but you're not
Yeah,
telling
to
me why.
me, it's not really relevant. What I care about is who's the best person for the
Okay,
job.
so again, like it's relevant to the conversation you
I
asked
don't care
for,
about
which
the
is how
emotion. I
Donald
care
Trump is
about the actual.
dictator-esque. So you're just not engaging because you don't know what the fake elector scheme
You can't
is.
be a dictator in the United States of America because the way it's set up is that it's impossible for someone to have rule over all. You have
You're an
Congress, you have
idiot.
the House, Senate.
You're an
You're an
idiot.
idiot. How
Really?
am I an idiot?
So let
Tell
me
me how I'm
ask
an
you a
idiot.
question then. Let me ask you a question then. So Donald Trump appoints like pure loyalists to his cabinet now because all his other
Why would you not pick loyalists?
Can I finish? I don't want to have to mute you.
Why would you not pick loyalists?
All right. So can I ask you a question really quickly? And then when you can, don't interrupt me or I'll kick you, please. So here's my question to you, because it's impossible to have a dictator in America. Nice. I'm sure millions, tons of countries throughout history have never had that position before ever. So if Donald Trump appoints loyalists, which you just agreed to,
I said, what's wrong with pointing a loyalist?
So I'm not. If it's not about that, if you just let me.
You want to put disloyal people in there?
Can I finish speaking? So what happens if Donald Trump in 3 months does something? He signs an executive order around whatever something, and a federal judge says, no, that's unconstitutional. I'm striking it down, illegal. And then Donald Trump goes to the loyalists that you agree should be there, and he just says, do it anyways. Ignore what the court says.
Did that happen?
No, I'm asking you, what if that happens?
Okay, so when it happens, then you can come ask me that. Why are you asking me now? You're giving me a scenario that you made up in your mind, and you're trying to tell me to justify.
No, so like again, I don't think you have like an understanding of like things like what Donald Trump did in his first term and things like the fake
You're saying a
elections.
what if he does this?
When I keep trying to, because what I'm doing right now is I keep trying to engage with you on specific points, and the points you don't know, like how he has clearly shown he cares more about himself than the will of the people. You just say that's irrelevant. I don't care. So I'm not like,
no. You asked me a hypothetical. You said, what if in 3 months he does this? And I said, well, you're saying you're making something up. What if,
okay,
if it
so
does
then
happen,
so then that would be an example of Donald Trump, feeling like that what if scenario was because I believe Donald Trump.
Right. Why do I care about what if scenarios?
Yeah, so I'm trying to get, I'm trying to get there. So in his first term, there was a lot of examples of Donald Trump saying and clearly trying to expand executive authority because he felt like he should be able to do things that normally like the president doesn't have executive authority over. Like,
such as what?
Such as, like, I think small examples throughout his first term would be like commenting on active DOJ investigations or commenting on what the FBI should or shouldn't be doing. That's very small.
Okay,
but
why can't you comment on that?
Yeah, so.
Is it bad to comment? Is it against the law?
Okay. This is the
Bro,
most.
why are you getting so offended? I'm
not offended. It's just really annoying.
You don't want me to say anything. I just want you to agree with everything you say. You're saying if he comments.
No, I just like I can't like you didn't
something a bad thing.
I was trying to explain what I was gonna say, and you just like started talking and immediately were like, is that elite? Like you're straw manning everything I said. If you want to have a conversation, I'm gonna try this one more time, and then you're gonna get the fuck out of my life. Just please try for me, okay? I'm saying that is a small example. But it's generally been precedent throughout American history that like the president of the United States is not going to comment on ongoing DOJ investigations because that three-letter agency is generally separate from the presidency. So when he started doing that and claiming that he wants to be able to use the FBI or use the DOJ to go after people or to direct them.
Like the Biden administration did to him.
So again, like you're pivoting. I'm more than happy to talk about that, but can you engage on what I'm saying right now?
Yeah, I am.
So like I don't think it's appropriate for an executive branch to be doing things like having complete control over three-letter agencies or being able to direct them to do what he wants. That's a branch that's far too large compared to.
So what would you say? So what would you say when the third person from the Biden DOJ stepped down to join the prosecution team against him?
What was he doing before that?
Can you answer my question?
Yeah, no, I'm answering your question with a question. I'm asking you that person from the DOJ, which again, I do want to be clear here that there's no evidence that still like makes your claim about the Biden, right? And nor could you comment on any problems with the specific case itself. Like you couldn't tell me how that DOJ official acted wrongly, for example. You could
why would he join a political opponent?
I'm going to tell you. That's why I asked you. Why would he join Alvin Bragg's team? What was he doing before he was at the DOJ?
He was part of it. He was part. What do you mean? What do you mean before the DOJ?
Before he started working at DOJ, where was he?
Why is that relevant?
It's relevant because he was Alvin Bragg's roommate in college, grew up with
Right.
him, and then
Okay.
worked for him.
Roommate.
So
A
so
roommate.
again,
That means if you're a roommate, that means you have to
so
join.
no. But I'm telling you,
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's important to know that like that person worked with Alvin Bragg for a long time in their career,
Okay.
went to the DOJ, and then left to go join Bragg again. So it obviously makes
Right.
more logical sense.
But wouldn't it be better if he didn't do that, if just because
No,
of
because
political
you still have
interference?
like no, you have shown no evidence to show that like a DOJ
What?
official joining Bragg's team had any of like. Can you explain to me
What
how
did he
that?
join as? He joined as a prosecutor.
Okay, so perfect. So
What
if
is the
you could,
job of a prosecutor?
so even if we were going to like, even if I was going to agree with that for a second, what can you show me then the wrongdoing in the case, like how
Yeah, you're
that
trying to
affected?
prosecute your political opponent. That's
Okay,
what's
so
wrong.
what about Donald? Like he was found guilty by a jury of his peers. So what about was there like
What
was
about
that?
it?
No, I'm asking you like
What?
you I guess I'm trying to say that you haven't explained
Okay.
how you've explained that that somehow with no evidence you're trying to prosecute your political opponents. There's a DOJ guy there, but like, do you
Yeah.
agree that Donald Trump did commit a crime?
Whether he did or did is not the question
No,
I'm
no,
at.
it is
I'm not gonna
because
I'm not
again,
gonna
like
go down that path because
if
here's the
no no
point.
no 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 no. See again, you're like not engaging. If Donald Trump did commit a crime and he was found guilty, and you have no problem with how the defense acted, the prosecution acted, the judge acted, how the jury was selected. If you have no problem with any of that,
If
and
he did, if he did commit a crime, then the DOJ, then your political opponent's person should not step down and go after you. It
okay,
should be somebody
but
else.
you're still not telling me like you're still not proving to me. If I agreed right now that you're right, it shouldn't have happened. Can you still explain how that had any effect on the case?
But now
Because
you're switching the goalposts.
no,
You're
I'm
moving the
not. I'm
goalposts.
not. I'm trying to get you to the point where you've correlated something.
Initially,
You've
right. So
correlated something,
initially,
but you've given me no evidence that that
you're
makes the
moving the
case.
goalposts. Then I'll tell you how you're moving the goalposts. Before you mentioned that Donald Trump, make comments on DOJ cases and stuff like that, and I said, well, you had Biden's DOJ, that third person in his team, step down and join Biden's political opponent to prosecute him. And then you said, well, but is he guilty? Well, him being guilty or not is irrelevant to this conversation, because if you want to talk about that, we can. It's a separate conversation.
Sure, I
But the
guess.
fact that you join, the fact that you join and you try to prosecute your political opponent, it could have clearly been somebody else. But why was it Biden's team that did that?
Again. So number one, you keep saying they're prosecuting a political opponent, but you haven't shown like evidence to
What do you
suggest
mean? What
that.
evidence would you need? You want me to
Okay,
give you like a
so
document?
yeah, you
I
can't just.
think his name was Michael.
You're just
Matthew
making shit up.
Colangelo, I
But
think.
can I go back to your point? Because
So do you want to make a bet on that?
I think we're hold on. I will hold on really quickly.
Okay, let's make a bet right now.
I think hold on. I think we're like you're slightly misunderstanding what I'm saying. You say that I don't think it's appropriate for the sitting president to comment on ongoing DOJ investigations. I think that's different than a member of the Department of Justice going to Alvin Bragg's team. Those are obviously two separate scenarios.
Yes.
And then you say if he's guilty or not, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is I'm trying to, just because even if we could agree right now that DOJ official shouldn't have gone to Alvin Bragg's team,
Do you agree?
it doesn't. No, I don't agree. But I'm trying to understand.
You should have gone?
But no. Please, can I finish speaking? You still have not finished. How do I say this? You still have not explained to me how that has like it's often that like people who support Trump will come up here and they'll talk about the DOJ official or the judge was this or the jury was this, but you never give me like an example from the case of where like that DOJ official acted inappropriately or where the prosecution acted inappropriately.
Okay.
So
Well,
in actual and in court, how did this end up playing? How did the DOJ official affect Donald Trump's chances at, if you're agreeing he committed a crime and you're agreeing the jury was not biased and the prosecution didn't do
never
anything
agreed,
wrong?
first of all, that. Second of all, no, bro, what we're talking about is you're talking about. Do you know how this conversation started? You said something about
Yeah.
Dictator
Yeah.
acts and
Yes.
going after.
Correct.
If you want to talk about going after political opponents, well, you had the third person from Biden's DOJ step down from his role and join the prosecution team to prosecute Trump. Now, that is going after your political opponents. Now, whether Trump was guilty or not is a separate issue, separate
How have you
conversation.
determined that that's going after your political opponents?
Can you tell me what the definition of a prosecutor is?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't understand how the third DOJ official going to Alvin Bragg's team when he was friends with Alvin Bragg and worked with him previously. gives you
Friends are irrelevant.
Okay, but how can you give me the evidence? Can you prove to me that he did it
Yes.
to prosecute a political opponent?
Can I give you the evidence that he prosecuted a political opponent?
No, I'm telling you, like you're suggesting a larger scheme where Biden wanted to prosecute a political opponent, and just because a DOJ member left a job and went somewhere else, you still haven't given me proof that he. What if he was acting? What if he was acting impartially? Like, can you go give me any?
How do you know
proof?
that?
I don't know that. You're the one who has to prove
Who's
your
the
claim.
head? Who's the head of the DOJ?
You're Merrick Garland. You're the one who has to prove your claim.
And who hired him?
You're the one. That's not how the.
I'm asking you right now.
Obviously, Joe Biden appointed him. That's
right. So who exactly?
Yeah. So that's
exactly.
not again. That's not how
Joe
America.
Biden is the boss of it.
Oh my God. You never shut the fuck up. And no, that is not how that works. Joe Biden is
Did
not.
Joe Biden have stopped him?
Really? Wait. So you're telling me Joe Biden is the boss of Merrick Garland? So then why did Joe Biden just allow his son to?
Who hired Merrick Garland?
Why did Joe Biden allow his son to get prosecuted?
Who hired Merrick Garland?
Joe Biden appointed Merrick Garland.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Joe
Biden is the boss.
Oh, so Joe Biden's the boss, and the boss allowed his son to be convicted of felonies.
Yeah, well, that was so blatantly obvious that you couldn't even go around it.
It was blatantly obvious. Okay, no. Let's engage on that point. Wait, stop. No. Don't pivot from that.
Yeah, he got pardoned, didn't he?
Why? Wait. Why was it blatantly obvious? What did he get charged with?
Because he got pardoned, didn't he?
Yeah. What did he get charged with?
Was it a gun charge?
Yeah. So what was the gun charge? I'm asking you.
He had a possession of a firearm. Correct?
No, see, you don't even know what Hunter Biden was charged with.
But that's irrelevant.
No. It is. It's very relevant. No. Please stop talking. I don't want to have to mute you. Please.
It doesn't matter because he pardoned his son.
It does. So you're running. You're running.
Planning on pardoning his son the whole time.
Please, can I finish speaking? You said the DOJ.
Hunter Biden is irrelevant.
Can I please finish speaking? I don't want to have to kick you. Please. You said that the DOJ had to charge Hunter Biden because it was obvious, and you said he was charged with. You said he was charged with possession of a firearm. That's not what he was charged with. He was charged with lying on a gun form.
Application, yes.
Yeah. So nobody. Yeah. So obviously it's not that obvious because I don't know if you are aware of this, but that firearm form was not public to anybody. The DOJ could have pulled it out of a file and then fixed it for him and put it back, and they would have never had to charge him. So that makes no sense. Okay. And obviously you wouldn't know that because you claim that he was charged with possession of a firearm. It's not even close.
I meant application.
Right.
Application.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is this, bro. Even if they went after him, Biden was going to pardon him regardless of what the crimes were.
Okay.
So who cares about what he went? You're switching the topic here. Okay. What I'm saying is I don't even want to talk about this because it's irrelevant in the past.
Yeah, and I don't even want to talk to you anymore because you're super fucking disingenuous and annoying. Yeah. If there's another Trump supporter who wants to talk, please. I just can't, dude. It's just really dumb. That's RC level fucking disingenuous, dude. I just can't do that for that long. It makes my head hurt, man. I try, man. I try. Double tap the screen. And the funny thing is about live is again, a lot of why I do this is because I enjoy it. And so people are oh, people will ask me sometimes oh, why'd you kick that person? Because I just wasn't having fun anymore. Because you can only talk to someone who's so disingenuous for so long until you're just Jesus Christ. I don't mind getting in, obviously I don't mind getting in heated debates. I don't mind screaming at people. I debate people all the time, but there's just certain levels where it's bro, I'm leaving because I'm not having fun. This is just annoying. It's I'm having to at least try to engage on some of my points. It's annoying. If you're a Trump supporter, let me know. Guys, it's really good to see everyone here, by the way. Thank you so much. Follow me on Twitch and YouTube if you haven't already. There's a link in my link tree. We were live on Twitch yesterday. I cooked. And also, the replays are now available for... I turned off ads on Twitch because I know they're super annoying. And a lot of people stay away from Twitch because of the ads. So, ad-free now. And also, the replays are on YouTube and live on YouTube as well. So if you'd follow me there, it'd mean so much to me. You guys are incredible. Molly, thank you so much for $3 from Venmo. It goes a long way. This guy is so insufferable. So insufferable, dude. I know. Molly, I appreciate you being here, by the way. Peyton, thanks so much for 50 cents. Parker, follow me. You're next, Mallory. Well, think it's a good, as Harry would say, it's a good endorsement. Cool. My favorite 6'9" Lakers player, the Sentinel out of ice. No, dude, Tanya, thank you so much for just ever being supportive. There's never any pressure to donate monetarily. Also, I love all of you. And 1523 just followed me on Twitch. I love you. You're the best. Thank you. All right. Greg from yesterday. Yeah, where's Greg? Where is he? People in this are saying like I lost, so I'm gonna invite them up, and they're not gonna come up. No. Yo, Nutty, thank you so much for the galaxy. Huge W's. That goes a really long way. Thank you. I want to move to Chicago. Do you like it? I do like it so far. I've only been here a few days though. Man, Chris, you take a lot of L's. Well, Steve, I'll invite you up. They always kick them when they get proved wrong. Well, Bethany, you can come up too. Again, I'm letting all these people talk, and then they just don't want to talk. Can I debate you? Yeah, if you request up, user 123. I don't see. Too cold here today, Ryan says. I haven't been outside. Staring out the window. How cold is it? Ryan, I gotta come pick, dude. Ryan, I have no protein. I have no creatine. I kind of forgot some key stuff. I hit the gym last night though. Ryan, after live, hit the gym. So listen, I'm doing a 3-day. I'm doing a different shout out higher up wellness. I've said this like 100 times, and like one day this like I kind of feel bad because I'm like, bro, like this kind of like not creepy, but I'm always like people are like, oh, gym, like food, all this. I'm like higher up wellness, but also Ryan because he's got some crazy good. Ryan in the chat, Ryan Brenner has some great recipes which I'm gonna try out. I really appreciate you. Now, but I hit the gym last night, Ryan. But I'm doing a 3-day split, like a 3-day split, but not it's 3 full body workouts, which is like I'm like I don't know. I guess I didn't like it's. I enjoy it way more because like I like for so long you do like not for so long, but I was like on and off in the gym doing like splits with like back buys, chest tries, legs. It's like I fucking hate that shit, and I started doing like 3 full body. Obviously, like you get the same repetition, progressive overload, and it's like way more enjoyable. So hit some squats last night, bench. I did other shit, squat, bench. What the fuck? Why am I blanking? I did squat, bench, did some pull-ups. I didn't. There's a name for this like split. It's like kind of popular, but anyway, I enjoyed it. It was a good time. My legs kind of hurt. All right, if you're a Trump supporter, let me know. Yeah, dude, I need like I have no protein powder, I have no creatine. It's tragic. It's tragic. Gym has been so packed for me. I need to go in the morning, or like, dude, yeah, I hate when the gym is packed. That shit sucks. At night? Do you go at night, right? Okay, Trump supporter. Let me know in the comments. I'll let you. Everyone's always. Oh, here's this person who said they were supporting Trump. Yo, W Ryan, bro. I appreciate you, and I saw you DM me like how to get groceries in Chicago. Appreciate that. That's fucking cool. W Ryan.
Hey man, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
It's nice to actually be able to join and have a good discussion.
I hope so, man. How old are you?
How old am I?
Yep.
I'm 46.
Okay. Why did you? What do you think of my prompt?
Well, I don't agree with it simply because of a lot of different things. Like you say, I was listening to you talk to that other guy where you were saying where Trump was a fascist-like actions.
Yeah, and again, I do. Yes, I do want to point out again, like that's not me saying that. That's like his top, his top military general who spent all 4 years with him in the Situation Room and like worked right next to him. But continue.
Mm-hmm. I understand that, but there's a couple different things that like I love debating Democrats and stuff like that. I'm a hardcore conservative Republican. I support Trump 100%. The problem I see is, like you made a comment earlier about democracy.
Yep.
Okay. First and foremost, the United States is not a democracy. It never has been and never will be.
What is the United States?
Okay, I'll give you an example. Read Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution. It states, and I quote, "The United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a republican form of government." Mm-hmm. Not a democracy. Right. The word democracy never appears in the Constitution anywhere. Huh?
So what are we? What are we? If we're not a democracy, what are we?
We are a republic.
Right. So, like constitutional republic, which
Nope.
America is a constitutional republic, is interchangeable with the term democracy.
Nope.
We're a representative democracy, which is
There's-
a
see, that's-
representative democracy is like similar to a democracy as a Granny Smith apple is still an apple. I would be surprised if you would disagree with people like, I mean, John Adams, when he wrote about the United States, called it a democracy. Justice Chief Marshall has called it democracy in his rulings. Multiple founding fathers have references as a democracy. I think
No, they don't. I've
they-
read a lot of them. The
they
thing is,
do.
the way it is this. I'll give you an example. On the 17th of September, 1787, that day was the end of the Constitutional Convention there in Philadelphia.
Mhm.
Okay, Benjamin Franklin walks out. A woman named Elizabeth Willing Powell walks up to him and says, "Doctor, what have you given us?" She said, "A republic or a monarchy?" Benjamin Franklin looks right at her and says, "A republic if you can keep it." The difference between a democracy and a republic is a democracy is universal equality. A republic is individual liberty.
Okay, but you would agree we're a representative democracy.
No, no.
We're not a representative democracy.
No, we are a republic.
Nice.
That's
know-
exact. A republic is a representative,
So let me. Oh,
not a democracy. A democracy always deteriorates into a dictatorship. We're not a democracy because the democracy is only where
so
the majority rules,
so
where the
can-
minority never has any
can,
say.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna read some quotes for you and see what you think of them. Hold on a second. Because again, I think that like we're a constitutional republic.
No, we're a republic. Like I said, Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution states that the United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a republican form of government. And then, with that, having said that, you got to read Article 6, Section 2. That states that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land.
Okay. So when John Adams used the term representative democracy to describe America in 1974, Noah Webster did in 1785, St. George Tucker, 1803, Thomas Jefferson in 1815, James Wilson, the main drafter of the Constitution, and one of the first Supreme Court justices, defended the Constitution in 1787 and said, quote,
They can say that all they want. That doesn't mean that we are a democracy.
and Chief Justice John Marshall, who
Justice
helped
John
who helped lead the fight in 1788 Virginia Convention for ratifying the U.S. Constitution, likewise defended the Constitution in that convention by describing it as implementing, quote, democracy, and without the need to even add the qualifier, quote, representative. And I actually think, because people have asked me about this before, that there's
a lot of people don't realize this, is that the United States, you right now, under the law, you're an American citizen, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Under the law, you're considered an individual. That's what a republic is.
I
Is
understand.
you're an individual. We are not a democracy. Now, on a separate topic that you and that guy were talking about, you were sitting there saying that, Donald Trump is a convicted felon. He actually is not a convicted felon. And the reason why I say that, and see, there you go. You're going to be like, I'm just explaining this to you. The reason why he's not a convicted felon is under the 6th and 7th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. You have to have a 12-jury unanimous vote on every felony conviction.
Yeah.
That judge that was presiding over that New York case with Stormy Daniels and them, he told them that they only a 12-jury unanimous judge that was presiding over that New York case.
That's not true.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
No.
did. I've looked it up.
And, no, you haven't. That's one of the reasons I dislike Trump a lot is because he lies all the time. And
I don't go off of what Trump said.
Yeah.
I
So
looked
and
it
sure.
up.
So we can pull up the jury instruction, but I'm more than happy to explain what you're trying to reference.
Okay, now,
So
but let me finish though.
okay,
The other thing too is you have to have 12 jurors vote unanimously.
yes, and they
Okay.
did.
And guess what? In order for him to be a convicted felon, he still has to be sentenced.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. So the in Donald Trump's case, falsifying business records in the first degree, the judge did not say that only 4 of them had to unanimously agree. You're misunderstanding. What the judge said was that you have to unanimously agree beyond a reasonable doubt, all of you, that Donald Trump falsified business records. You then have to unanimously agree beyond a reasonable doubt that he did so to commit or conceal a larger crime, to take a step to conceal or commit a larger crime. And then he said, but you don't have to unanimously agree on what that larger crime is. Here are your 3 options. You could say that Donald Trump did it in an attempt to violate New York State election law, to lie on an lie on a tax form, or lie on like a campaign finance form. And so if 4 of the jurors believe that Donald Trump did agree unanimously that Donald Trump falsified business records, did so to conceal or commit a larger crime, and that larger crime was to violate New York State election law. And all of the other jurors think that beyond a reasonable doubt that Donald Trump falsified business records, did so to conceal or commit a larger crime, take a step to conceal or commit a larger crime. And the crime they believe Donald Trump was trying to hide was or conceal was lying on a campaign finance form. Then that the Judge Merchan correctly said that that's perfectly acceptable, and that's A, normal, because that's just New York State law, but B, this is like very common practice in law. That would be like, if the difference between trespassing and burglary, for example, if someone walks in my house and then just leaves, they could be arrested for trespassing. But if someone walks in my house and starts rummaging through my stuff and then the cops show up, then he could be arrested for burglary because of the intent. The jurors could all agree beyond a reasonable doubt that he was there to burglarize my house. That doesn't mean they have to unanimously agree on what he was going to burglarize. For example, 4 of the jurors could think that that this burglar was going to try to get the safe out of the bottom of my house and lug it to his truck. But the other jurors might all say, wait, no, I don't think he's doing that. I think he's going to go upstairs and steal all the jewelry because X, Y, and Z. But they're still all agreeing that beyond a reasonable doubt that this person, was committing the crime of burglary.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Since when does a state law trump the federal constitution?
What are you talking about?
Since when does a state law
What
trump?
federal what concept what constitutional what was trumped? What's unconstitutional?
Okay, where you stated that the New York law says that judge can sit there and say, on the greater charge where he doesn't have to give a full unanimous vote.
That's not true. That's not what he said. You do have to be
That's what
unanimous.
you just said.
No. The jury has to be unanimous that he falsified business records. He did so to take a step to conceal or commit a larger crime. They don't have to be unanimous about what that crime is, but they're all unanimous about the fact that
Okay, so you're saying they don't have to be unanimous about what the crime is.
Correct.
That's
And you have 3, but they do have to be unanimous that it was one of the 3 crimes that the prosecution argued.
You can't sit there and convict somebody if you don't have an actual crime.
No, so again, like, obviously you don't understand.
I understand it very well.
No, you don't. You don't understand New York State election law, or you don't. I'm sorry, you don't understand. You don't understand New York State law. Like, again, this would be why.
New York State law does not trump federal or constitutional law.
So what's unconstitutional about this?
In the 6th and 7th Amendments of the United States Constitution, it states that you have to have a full unanimous.
Yes, and
jury.
they did. Again, like, I have a question. How do you think that they take down like mob bosses in the United States? Like, how did that come to be?
That's called the RICO.
Yeah. So like when like it's very difficult in organized crime to like get somebody on a very big charge.
Mhm.
So they started saying, well, we could charge someone with doing something small and say and prove that they were committing a small crime to try to conceal or commit a larger crime. This has been done for decades. And so again, the jury in those scenarios does not have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, or the prosecution is not required to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this crime, they don't have to prove the larger crime. They just have to prove that the smaller crime was committed. They just have to prove that the smaller crime was committed to conceal or to conceal a larger crime.
Okay, so you're, different things like that. All right, let's go on to a different.
Wait, but that's like I'm just saying like that's very important, and it's like
Well,
absurd it's absurd to suggest that Judge Merchan told the jury that they don't have to be unanimous in their
He
decision.
did.
I'm more than happy to read the jury instructions.
Anyway, but I have another question I want to
Okay.
ask you.
All right, sure.
All right, so I sat there. I guess you were on a live stream yesterday with Harry, talking about Trump and stuff like this, about how bad. Yes. The question I have for you is, I really want to know what your view is on Biden's policy for opening up the U.S.-Mexico border.
What policy was that?
Basically getting rid of Remain in Mexico, not enforcing. Here's one thing too, not enforcing the Immigration and Nationalization Act and Title VIII.
Okay, so let's start with the first one. So Remain in Mexico is like an incredibly niche policy. Do you know how many people it applied to under the entire Trump administration, all 4 years?
People who apply to get into the
Like
country.
no. Like how many people during the entire Trump administration were quote sent back to Mexico because of Remain in Mexico?
I don't know.
The answer would be 60,000. So obviously that's like, and if you look at that policy, it's most people don't qualify for Remain in Mexico. Most people who cross the U.S. border are not going to be sent back to Mexico, and that was true under the Trump administration. So, Joe Biden removing that, A, had very little effect on like the actual amount of people coming over, but B, it was a good decision humanitarily because we have evidence of over a dozen people throughout the Trump administration who were sent back to Mexico and then assaulted, raped, killed, trafficked, etc. It's an inhumane policy. It's not what America stands for. So I don't think that like I would certainly contest that like getting rid of Remain in Mexico was not like him opening the border. Number two, in terms of like the general open, like the stats just don't back up what you're saying, and I think the best like way to
Where'd you
phrase.
get your stats from?
Yeah, sure. So according to Border Patrol and actually several House committee reports from Republicans, the removal percentage from Joe Biden's presidency, meaning people who are encountered by Border Patrol, come across the border, and then are subsequently arrested and removed. Joe Biden removed a slightly higher percentage of people than Donald Trump did. Obviously, the quantity of under Joe Biden was much higher, but we saw that under an 18-month period under the Biden administration, if 5 million people came across the border, about 2.5 million were deported, essentially sent back. So like this idea of like I clearly the stats show if there was some policy that was opening up the border, then what we should see is Border Patrol encountering people and then that removal percentage being much lower.
Well, that's the problem, is that the Border Patrol was not allowed. They've actually been told multiple times to not stop people
Really?
from coming in.
Do you have evidence of this?
Yeah, Tom Holland. Homan.
What evidence did Tom Homan give?
He's actually part of the Border Patrol agency. He was, and then he was the acting Border Patrol person there when he was in Trump's administration, his first administration.
No, I know. What evidence did he give?
Have you ever listened to him?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Yes, I'm asking you. Like, what evidence Tom Homan gave?
He gives every bit of evidence how many people.
Okay, so like that's not every bit of evidence is not like I'm asking you specifically for like your source. I'm more than happy to give you my source on Border Patrol data.
Where does your Border Patrol data come from?
Yes, directly from the U.S. government, from Border Patrol. They report these stats every single month. Or well, I don't know actually. They might release them every 3 months. I don't know like the timing of when Border Patrol releases.
Okay, well, I just have another question for you. I'd like to
really quickly. By the way, this is my friend Law of the Wild, and for the record, nonpartisan here. He's an attorney, so I think I brought him up because I'm sure I wanted him to comment on a few things that you were saying previously about the Trump trial and how it's like unconstitutional. If you still want to talk about that.
No, not right now.
Well, not right now. Okay.
Well, you want to know why?
Well,
I don't trust attorneys.
You don't trust it. Okay, wait. So then let's back up even further. Law of the Wild. Do you think that the United States can be described as both a constitutional republic and a representative democracy?
Yes.
Okay. Why is that?
A constitutional republic is a form of democracy when people elect their representatives in a democratic process.
Yeah, no offense to you, but you're an attorney that is interpreting it the way you want to interpret it, because that's what attorneys do. If you don't believe me, read Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution.
Law of the wild.
It clearly states, let me finish, it clearly states that the United States, meaning the federal government, shall guarantee to every state in the Union a republican form of government. Do you know what a republic is? A republic is individual liberty. It is not a democracy. A democracy is a form of dictatorship. It always deteriorates into a dictatorship. The United States has never been a democracy. Benjamin Franklin even stated on the day that they finalized the U.S. Constitution that it was a republic if you can keep it, not a democracy.
What do you think of that, Law of the Wild?
My headset just disconnected. Give me a second.
Oh, you're fine.
I mean, you could bring this attorney on here and have him say whatever you want. I could bring 12 attorneys on here and say the exact opposite.
Unfortunately, there's not going to be 12 attorneys in America who think you're making any sense. I just think
I
think
know a lot of attorneys that do.
I think Law of the Wild enjoys these conversations, so I want to.
That's fine. Okay, now the question I have for you is this: you guys hate Trump so much.
Yes.
You think he's such a bad person.
Yes.
The question, and you want to see him thrown in jail and be prosecuted.
No, I think I don't. I want to see him held to the fullest extent of the law.
Okay, what about Joe Biden? I want to know.
Okay, so I do want to
to the fullest extent of the law for when he had top secret documents at his house. There was an attorney that actually worked for the DOD that investigated and stated that he did break the law.
Yes.
Why is he not being prosecuted?
Yeah, sure. So if you read the special counsel report on that, again, I think it clearly outlines how Joe Biden it compares a lot of Joe Biden's case to Donald Trump's at the time, but how Joe Biden was very cooperative during this time. He obviously
it doesn't matter if he was cooperative.
No. It does matter though, because here's the thing.
He still broke the law.
Really? Okay, so let me ask you a question,
Yes.
and I'm going to give you a good example of a discretion in the law. So if I go downstairs right now and I get in my car and I drive down the street at 100 miles an hour in a 35, and a police officer pulls me over and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, I was just listening to music. They're probably going to arrest me for reckless driving. If I do that exact same thing, exact same road, exact same police officer, and he says, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I say, "My mom is in the hospital. I need to get there now." It's possible that police officer would act very differently or say, "Okay, follow me. I'm going to turn my lights on and go ahead." Did I break the law? Yes. But in that scenario, the police officer decided to give different discretion because of the scenario. So in Joe Biden's scenario, it's probably the position of the DOJ, if we know that there is classified documents around that we are, we know that there's clearly a problem with classified documents, right? And so the DOJ's position here is, well, Joe Biden's staffers found the documents. They invited the FBI into the house to search for more documents. Joe Biden sat for 2 in-person 5-hour interviews, and Joe Biden and his team were very cooperative during this time. And so the DOJ probably wants to send a message of, hey, if you have classified documents and you hand them to us, we're not going to prosecute you if you're cooperative. And what that does is signal to other people with classified documents hey, be cooperative with the DOJ and everything will be cool. Because obviously the main goal of the United States and just the general national security of the United States is we want these classified documents in the correct places. If the DOJ, one more thing, if the DOJ were to prosecute Joe Biden, maybe in their position, they'd be sending a message that if you're a politician with classified documents that you don't know you have, and you turn them over and you're cooperative, you are going to get arrested and go to prison, then a lot of people with classified documents around the country may just decide to burn them, get rid of them, sell them, and then we're not solving the national security problem. So this is very basic discretion in the law, and Robert Hur wrote a great report on this for the first half, comparing this and explaining this.
Let me explain this to you. Joe Biden's not above the law.
Yes, correct.
Never has been. He deserves to be prosecuted because he had top secret documents that he was not legally allowed to have.
Do you agree?
He got a hold of him when he was not the president.
Okay, so
he was not the vice president.
Do you disagree with the idea that he was
No.
So you don't think there should be any discretion?
No, not on him.
Okay.
You guys, the thing is,
do you think that could be sending a bad precedent for other people who have classified documents?
No, I want other people who have classified documents that are not supposed to have them to be prosecuted.
Okay, so the problem with that is again, If the goal is that there's top secret classified documents out there that shouldn't be out there, we're going to have a worse outcome if we start prosecuting everybody with them, because we're not going to get all of them back. People are going to be
Okay,
less
so the
willing to give
question I
them.
have for you is why didn't the Democrats, why didn't Merrick Garland and all them
Mhm.
show the same thing to Donald Trump, because he had a legal right to have those?
Right. So I'm sure Law of the Wild's going to love this conversation as well. But again, if you read the Her report, which was the DOJ special counsel investigating Joe Biden taking classified documents, comparatively to Donald Trump leaves the White House, takes classified documents, is asked for them back 4 separate times by the National Archives, because again, the rule would be that Donald Trump leaves office and he has to give them back to National Archives, and then after a period of time, he can request copies of them. And
What's
so
the
the
rule?
FBI and the National Archives request them 4 separate times. We have evidence via literal video proof that right after, and subpoena text messages, that right after each of those times, Donald Trump would ask his staff to like move them around to Mar-a-Lago. So when the FBI showed up and then went to one of his staffers and said, "Hey, have you ever seen these classified documents?" "No." "Have you ever moved them?" "No." That person was arrested for lying to the FBI, because we have video evidence that, and subpoena text messages, that he was asked to move them, had seen them, and was on video moving them. And then when they got to the actual classified documents themselves, they were obviously scattered everywhere. And then there was an audio recording of Donald Trump in Mar-a-Lago showing a staffer classified documents. And at the end of this audio recording, he said, I quote, "I could have declassified these while I was president, but I didn't," unquote. And then, essentially suggested, quote, "Now I'm in, now we have a problem," unquote. Essentially admitting that he knew that they were still classified documents, that he was supposed to, I guess at the time, believe,
The question,
declassify them. So obviously, again, in that scenario, him being like incredibly dishonest to the National Archives, the FBI, lying, and then showing the documents to people who shouldn't see them, is a much different scenario, and him not being cooperative compared to Joe Biden. And
the
Law of the Wild,
question
if
I
you want to
have for
comment
you
on
is
any of that in
this.
case I fucked it up, because I'm not.
Have you ever read the Presidential Records Act?
No, I have not.
Okay, the Presidential Records Act gives the President of the United States to have documents like that.
Law of the Wild, what do you think about that one?
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
It
it
says
does.
that as soon as the presidential term is done, all presidential records become property of the National Archives. Now, there is a 5-year window that National Archives has before they make documents public, and they go through and they determine what documents are eligible for public release and what aren't. The president is allowed within that 5-year window to object to the release of any of those documents as private records. But he absolutely, all of those documents become the property of the National Archives on behalf of the people the minute he's not president anymore.
They have, well, the thing is, those documents that President Trump had were copies of the actual documents. They weren't the actual documents; they were copies.
And you think that's okay?
He was the president of the United States. I think it was more okay if he had got those documents while he was president, instead of Joe Biden getting them when he was not president, not the vice president.
So why
when
was
he was a senator.
Donald Trump not cooperative when he was asked for them back by the National Archives?
Because he didn't have to.
What?
Well, he did give 14 boxes back to the National Archives. So,
Yeah.
and how many of those documents was he charged with?
Let me ask you a question.
Wait. Answer Law of the Wild's question.
How many of those
So
documents?
that's a good point, because there's 4 separate times. Thank you, Law. There's 4 separate times, I believe, where Donald Trump was asked for them back, and he either says no. He essentially either doesn't respond, or he says yes, give some of them back, but not all of them. So the 14 boxes that he did give back, was he charged for those?
I don't know if he was.
The answer is no. So again, we're giving you a direct example of Joe Biden. That's brilliant. Law of the Wild, W's in the chat. That's brilliant, because you're giving a direct example of like being cooperative, but he broke the law, being cooperative.
Biden.
No.
Biden broke the law, and you're not willing to prosecute
Donald Trump
him.
being cooperative, giving the documents back, and he wasn't charged.
But yet the thing is, though, is you guys always, the question I have for you guys is that you always hate Trump. Everybody, every one of you Democrats hates Trump, but you're never willing to go and look at what Joe Biden has done.
Really quick, before we talk about that, Law of the Wild, do you want to comment again really quickly on if you wanted? I thought you would enjoy the conversation about democracy versus constitutional republic.
Yeah, I mean, so I think people get it in their head that a democracy means mob rule because they're thinking of a pure democracy, and that republic is somehow something that is of the people.
I'm gonna use the
Democracy,
bathroom super quickly.
yeah,
Sorry, continue.
democracy just comes from two words, demos and krasia. They're two Greek words. It means rule by the
I know
people.
that. I know
So
that.
so it means that the people are the ultimate authority in the government. Now there are all sorts of republics, your Republic of North Korea, the Islamic Republic of Iran, that are not ruled by the people. They're oligarchical or theocratic republics. So just because something's a republic doesn't mean it's democratic.
Okay,
So
let me
our
explain
form of
something to
our
you.
let me finish my sentence, please, sir. I'm almost done. Our form of government is one of both democratic principles because it is ruled by the people, and a republic because it is not a direct representation but a representation of people who are elected to represent the individuals themselves.
Okay, that's where you're totally wrong. And the reason why I say that is because the United States has never been a democracy. A democracy is universal equality. A republic is individual liberty. Every single human being that is an American, and I'm talking about a legal American citizen, I'm not talking about illegal immigrants, I'm talking about legal American citizens, they are individuals. In our
So
country,
if a republic is about individual liberty, does the Republic of Iran give people individual
no,
liberty?
no, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the United States. I could care less about
That's
Iran.
because we are a democratic
No, we're
republic.
not. We've never been a democratic republic. Read the Constitution. You're supposedly a lawyer. Read it. There's no word in the U.S. Constitution or in the Declaration of Independence that states that we are a democracy. It all states that we are a republic.
Well, the
Individual
only mention of
liberty.
of a republic in the Constitution is that the United States is supposed to guarantee a republic form of government to the states. It doesn't even say that we're a republic, really.
Yes, yes, it does. Benjamin Franklin even said that we are a republic. And
Right,
he's one of
but
the
it's
most
not in the
biggest found.
Constitution, though.
Yes, it is. Article 4, Section 4. And I can guarantee you there's nothing in the U.S. Constitution that says we are a democracy. A democracy is where the majority rules.
So,
Universal equality.
there's nothing in the Constitution that defines what type of government we are. The only part that comes up in Article 4 is when we says that the United States must guarantee to the states a republican form of government.
Yes. And
So
the
that, so
reason,
so that we need to make sure that any of the states that are admitted to the Union have a Republican form of government because we had a Continental Congress where those people were expected to elect representatives to come
yes,
and represent themselves to the United States. My
yes.
contention with you is that we created something that had never been seen before in the world. So the founders
Mhm.
didn't label it. What we are talking about are the principles and the ideals that that are reflected, and we have
Okay.
reflections of both democratic ideals and republican
Okay.
ideals.
Let me ask you a question. So, because I watch a lot of different things about the Democrats where they say they want this, they say they want universal health care and all that stuff. Where in the Constitution does it say that it's the responsibility of the government to provide things like universal health care and things like that to the American people?
I mean, I could argue that it's in the preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, provide for the common defense, promote the general
Provide,
welfare.
provide for the common defense and
Yep,
promote
promote the general
general
welfare
welfare.
and
It doesn't
secure the
say
blessings of
provide,
liberty to ourselves and our posterity.
and it does not say provide for the general welfare. It says promote the general welfare.
Yep,
See,
that's what I
our
said.
founding fathers, when they designed this country, they designed it for each and every one of us as an American citizen to be individually responsible for ourselves. Is it my responsibility to go to work every day to provide for you or anybody else because they're not willing to work? They're not willing to provide for themselves. They're not willing to pay off their student loan debts.
When is that? Where is that happening?
Is that my responsibility to provide that for them? No, that's their responsibility. Is it my responsibility to make sure that I go to your house to make sure that you get up every morning, you eat your breakfast, you go to work, you do your job? No, that's your responsibility. Why do you go to college? You go to college to get a career. Why do you get a career? So you can provide for yourself, so you can provide for your family, so you can put a roof over their head, put food in their belly, and clothes on their back. Okay. our founding fathers, I've read a lot of writings from our founding fathers. They wanted us to be
except the one where John Adams calls the United States a democracy. Like continue.
that,
Representative
that,
democracy.
but the thing, what I'm
And Justice Chief
that doesn't, they can call it all they want.
and John Marshall calls ours a democracy without even calling us a representative democracy. But okay,
They can call that all they want. We're not.
Well, I'm just saying. You said you read a lot of founding fathers, and like multiple of the founding fathers called America a democracy, but you haven't read those.
No, a lot of them called us a republic.
But what about with John Adams when he called us a representative democracy? That was incorrect.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, continue.
Okay. The question I have, the thing is like, it's not the government's job to provide for you. It's your job to provide for yourself. It's your job to get up every morning. If you're going to school, to go to school to get your education. It's your job to go to work every morning. It's your job to make sure your bills are paid. It's just like this. If you have a job where you make $20,000 a year, you're not going to go to the bank and apply for a $500,000 loan to buy a house.
Unless it's 2006. Continue.
But you're not going to do that because you can't afford it. You live within your means.
Unless it's 2006.
Unless it's 2006, yeah. So what do you mean by that?
I was just making a joke about how like the 2008 mortgage crisis, housing crisis was caused by like the bankers making a bunch of money off adjustable rate mortgages. So like people would walk in and make $20,000 a year and be like, I want to buy a $500,000 house. And the bank was like, yeah, that's good enough. And then a bunch of people like, went bad on their loans and it caused like a massive crisis.
Yeah, that's because people were stupid enough to go in there and try to apply for a $500,000 loan.
I mean, I think it's more that like the bank, bankers were incentivized to convince people to buy homes even if they couldn't afford them because they were making money.
Well, let's put it this way. Is that person that went in there and applied for that loan, okay, did somebody force them to go in there and sign the dotted line?
No.
Okay, then it's up to them.
But we still sure. But like, I think that like,
it's called individual responsibility.
Yeah, but I think that like I think the federal government has more of a responsibility to like protect, for example, protect consumers. That's why I believe in like in general like more regulation. And I think that like in that scenario, and that's it. So let me ask you this: would you disagree after 2008, after we put like way more regulations on banks about like what they were doing and who they were reporting to? So the federal government was like A, protecting consumers, but B, like just generally aware of what like banks, what activities banks were, taking part in. Do you think that that's the federal government overstepping their reach?
Oh yeah.
Really?
You know what
So after the U.S. economy almost fell apart, what were you supposed to do?
Let me explain this. Let me explain this.
Please.
The 9 most dangerous words in America is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. You know who said that? Ronald Reagan. The best way for our country to be able to do what it needs to do and to be able to thrive is to get the government out of everything. Mm-hmm. Yes.
It worked. It worked with the banks pre-2008. You saw it. You watched it.
I didn't watch the.
I'm making a joke about how there wasn't enough regulation on big bank, and then they almost fucking destroyed
the problem,
America.
Is that we need to stop regulation.
So pre-2008. Like, do you agree that 2008 was caused by banks not being regulated enough?
No, really? I think 2008 was caused by people going in there and getting loans for stuff. So people walked in, got loans that they couldn't afford, and through that time, like when the housing market in general was like trading well, and like credit agencies were being paid off, had incentives to mark, who were they being paid off by?
The bankers. The banks were paying credit agencies to mark, the banks were paying credit agencies to essentially say like, to say like, look, they have a AAA rating, nothing's wrong here.
Where's your proof of that?
Yeah, sure. I'm more than happy to provide that.
Okay. But that's what I'm saying is the government needs to stop sticking its nose in everything. It's not the government's job to provide for you. It's your job. Our founding fathers, when they designed this country, they designed it for us to be individual responsible for ourselves. You do realize, okay, let's put it this way. Okay, you look at the people in North Carolina from that hurricane.
Yeah. So here you go.
Hold on, let me finish.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you talk about the hurricane
Okay.
thing, but really quick. Yeah. So essentially, I can give you like proof like some actual evidence for this. But in the lead up to 2008 financial crisis, banks paid for AAA ratings by paying credit rating agencies like Moody and Standard and Poor's large fees to give them high credit ratings to complex financial products like mortgage-backed securities, even when those securities were considered risky, creating a conflict of interest that contributed significantly to the crisis. This practice is often referred to as the issuer pays model, where the entity issuing the debt pays for the rating, incentivizing agencies to give higher ratings to secure business. So again, when there's these mortgage-backed securities and they're being rated as very as AAA rating, not very safe, when in reality, if you look at what was in those mortgage bond securities, it was all garbage. It was all trash. You could see if you looked in them that oh my God, a lot of these people are going to go bad on their mortgages. And that's how the whole crisis started, because again, or it's a key part of it is because again, people were some people were trading under the assumption that the housing market was in good shape when it wasn't, because banks were paying credit agencies to make it look like they were in good shape. So again, when we talk about the federal government having an incentive to regulate these things, yeah, I think after 2008, when the federal government was hey, it's certainly not enough, considering if you fucking go online right now, Bank of America and Wells Fargo get fined $200 million every fucking month for doing something illegal. But regardless, the federal government said, hey, we're going to make a lot stricter regulations on this to make sure that credit agencies aren't being paid to make things look good and throw off consumers, which caused a giant financial crisis. And we're going to force you to not just actually have some incentive around. We're not going to give incentives for giving out adjustable rate mortgages when you're not even putting they weren't even put how much money people made. Banks were just approving loans nonstop because everyone was incentivized to make money. Again, this is where regulated capitalism comes in, is where when you take government out of those things, everything explodes because people want to make money. Anyways, go ahead and talk about North Carolina.
Well, okay, it's just like North Carolina. Okay, you've got all these people that were hit by this massive storm. Okay, they've lost their homes, they lost everything. And Joe Biden and his infinite wisdom decided to only give these people $750.
Nice.
You realize that's serious needs assistance, right?
Okay, but here's the thing. Sorry about that.
So answer this real quick. What's the most money that can be given out under serious needs assistance under FEMA's allocations?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it.
$750.
Okay. But the question I have is this, is that if they're only allowed only able to give $750, instead of giving these people money, why wasn't Joe Biden using the government like he's supposed to send the Army Corps of Engineers down there to help build, send supplies down there? But at the same time, he was trying to pass bills and trying to get other bills passed to send Ukraine.
I'm gonna let I'm gonna let Law of the Wild respond to this, but I do want to ask you a quick question. How much under the maximum FEMA can give without congressional approval for natural disasters like this? How much was that amount under Donald Trump?
I don't know.
It was $500. So every single time there's a natural disaster under Trump,
first and foremost,
those people are given.
They're not supposed to give him the way I see it is that they're not supposed to give him the money in the first place. That doesn't.
Yeah, fuck those guys. Just bootstrap themselves up.
That's not what I said.
Go fix their own roads.
That's right.
That's not what I said. Now, if you just shut up and listen to me, you'd understand what I'm about to say.
I guarantee we won't.
Oh, I guarantee you won't, because you're
because you're just up here spewing a bunch of
No, I'm not.
Trump. You're spewing a bunch of Trump misinformation garbage. The $750 you're referring to, as Law of the Wild said, is the maximum amount FEMA can give without congressional approval. There's a bunch of other things that you can apply for through FEMA, other relief. The $750 is just a one-time immediate payment.
How are those? Hey, the question right there.
Can I finish speaking? It's a one-time immediate payment, so you can do things like get groceries, and then there's a lot of other things you can apply for, like getting thousands
after
of
that you get the Family and Households program, which gives you $32,000, and you can get up to an extra $38,000.
The question I have for you guys
hold
is
on,
this.
No, because this is really important, because not only was it the same under Donald Trump, but what you're actively engaging in, and one of the reasons I say Donald Trump is one of the worst presidents ever, is because Trump actively lied about this issue for political gain. There are people in Western North Carolina who didn't apply for more aid when they could have, and they could have been approved for significantly more aid, but they didn't because they were under the belief that the Biden administration or FEMA didn't care about them. And so Donald Trump is literally using people's suffering, causing more suffering for political gain, because now those people are like, oh, fuck this, I can't get any help when they could. So you are actively partaking in that. It's garbage.
Let me explain something to you. You sit here and say that Donald Trump is a bad president because what you just said, but yet let's put it this way: the families of those 13 servicemen and
just
women.
like you can't even say you can't engage on a single point. Like, can you?
Yes, I can.
Every single time,
I'm giving you an example of how Joe Biden does exactly.
I don't see again. Like, I'm more than happy to talk about whatever you want to talk about with Joe Biden. But every single time, all the while, to say something and we like directly engage on your point. Like, you're not going to refute that. If you're not going to refute it, at least admit you were wrong.
Oh, I'm not wrong.
Oh, so Law of the Wild, address what Law of the Wild said, and slash what I said about the fact that FEMA, you can apply for a bunch of other assistance, just like under the Trump administration. And
how are those people going to be able to apply for it if they don't have access to phones, internet, all that stuff? Huh? How?
So I've responded to multiple disasters in multiple countries. Nobody gets as much help as they need as quickly as they need it. It's just the nature of a disaster. What they do is they target the highest population areas and they set up centers. Now, they move in extra cell phone towers and things like that. They move in generators, and if people are able to get through, they can apply through their phones. If they can't approve, if they can't approve or get online, then they can go to one of these centers and apply for the $750 of serious needs assistance. From there, they can get up to $32,000 under the Family and Households program for repairs, and up to another $38,000 under the same program for medical expenses, debris removal, insurance deductibles, and things like that.
Well, see, that's neither here nor there, trying to apply for stuff, because that doesn't really help them when they need help. What helps them?
Wait, no, because you're not engaging. Because again, the original point you made was that Joe Biden doesn't care because he only gave $750. So if you now understand how that actually works, now that isn't true, and how it was the same under the Trump administration, you get a $500 immediate payment, and then you could apply for more things under FEMA. Are you going to address the fact that what you just said is just wrong?
No, because it's not wrong.
Oh.
The question I have, perfect example. Like I was going to give you another example. You sit here and say that Joe Biden cares about the American people.
Yes.
You do realize that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have not yet spoken to the families of the 13 servicemen and women killed in Afghanistan because of Joe Biden.
That's not true.
Has not talked to Lake and Riley's family.
That's not.
Yes, it is true. So the families have actually come out and stated they have not heard from them.
First of all, the 13 families that were killed in Afghanistan did talk to Joe Biden.
No, they didn't.
Really?
They've actually come out and stated that they did not talk.
So you know that the picture that.
But yet, guess what?
Wait. Can I ask you a question? You know that picture you're probably very familiar with when Joe Biden's looking at his watch. Yeah. Yeah. So who was there that day with Joe Biden? The families. The families who spoke to him.
But he didn't speak to him.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
but he did. But the families.
You're saying that he spoke to the families, but the families are lying.
The what?
The families.
No, actually, you know what's interesting? Two of the families, like two separate families, two people who were part of those families, wrote an article or spoke to the Post, and they claimed that day that Joe Biden was essentially like. The reason he was late was because he was like napping in Air Force One or something. Regardless of that, they're literally actively talking against Joe Biden and said that they talked to him that day. They said they were there.
What about the other families?
Because a couple of them wrote an article saying that when they talked with Joe Biden, a couple of them wrote an article saying that when they talked with Joe Biden, he was talking more about his son Beau than he was that their children. Which I mean, maybe you think that's inappropriate. Maybe he was trying to empathize.
Okay, so
but then he talks to them.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he didn't talk to all of them because all of them the big majority of them actually stated that Joe Biden and Harris has not talked to them.
Right, can you pull that up for us?
Go look at the.
No. Just proof of it. You just have to slide out of the app
Yeah,
and go
I'm
find
giving
it.
you the proof.
No,
It was on the day that Donald Trump was there.
No. You got to go find the evidence. We'll wait. We can wait. Just find the evidence.
But also, he still hasn't even talked to Lake and Riley's family.
You just don't you do not. Every single time you get proven wrong, you move to another subject.
I feel like I'm playing Twister. It's like spin the needle right hand red.
I know, law of the wild, dude. These are like some of the most frustrating debates because it's like you try so hard to get someone to engage and they just move.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about the documents case 20 minutes ago.
I know.
Yeah.
And you hammer the archive, the National Archives, all these things. We want to move. I talked to him before that about how Judge Merchan apparently told people that you only have to be found guilty on.
He did tell them that.
But you still have never. Okay, all right. I mean, I give up.
Now that's the problem, is that Democrats like you guys sit there and think that you know everything there is to know about our country.
No, it's just you are. Oh man.
My bad.
Hopefully he's still listening. No, you are ignorant, and you are too stupid to recognize how ignorant you are. I'll hit that one real quick. Is Judge Merchan laid out the elements of the crime under New York Law 175.10 that you have in order to be found guilty of the Class E felony of falsification of business records in the first degree, is you have to, 1, falsify business records. 2, it has to be done in the jurisdiction of Manhattan. That's how the court has jurisdiction. And 3, it has to be done in furtherance of another crime. Those are the 3 elements. That's all the jury had to agree on unanimously. Now, as predicate crimes to that, the Judge Merchan allowed allowed the state to argue 3 different predicate crimes, which I'm sure you covered: violation of the Federal Election Campaign Act, violation of New York's tax laws, and violation of New York's election interference laws.
Oh, so okay. Well, I named one. I gotta remember. I named one.
Yeah.
Wrong. My bad. Continue.
No, but as long as they agreed that there was falsification in furtherance of another crime, that satisfies all 3 elements to be found guilty.
Yeah, and you would. Oh, yo, Dean's here. What's up, Dean? You would agree that it's when we just talk about. I don't know. A lot of times in these debates, I like to zoom out and attack some of the logic behind this. You would agree that it's a key part of. I don't know if saying just labeling it as general intent in the law is the best way to say that, but you would agree that it makes perfect logical sense in I you bring up you can bring up Giuliani and starting to take down organized crime and the idea behind being able to prove that somebody did something in the attempt to commit a larger crime, but not having to prove that larger crime, or I don't know. I give another example about burglary, but does that make sense?
Well, yeah, I mean, and it comes up in conspiracy cases all the time. Is you don't actually achieve the final crime, but you took steps to try to get it done,
right?
And they can charge you with with the attempts to try to get that done. In New York, it's the law's pretty cut and dry. Is if you just falsify business records, if you say, hey, I made this much money this year, but I'm going to write down that I made this much money, then that's just a misdemeanor. But if you falsify business records and you say, I made this much money this year, but I'm going to say that I wrote this much money this year because I want to pay lower in taxes, or I want to write off my Maserati that I bought as a legal expense, then now you're committing a felony because you're concealing it in furtherance of another crime, which is the paying off of or trying to circumvent tax laws or trying to influence an election.
Right, and that gives us from a logical standpoint, and I appreciate you saying that because again, brilliant. Love Law of the Wild, guys. If you guys haven't, check out Law of the Wild. Oh, what's up, brother? Check out Law of the Wild's the link in his bio. Dude's killer. Follow him if you haven't. He's dope. Yeah, but again, from a logical standpoint, if you're
Hey, Chris, I just got flagged. I don't know if you saw it. I'm going to drop to.
Oh, okay, yeah, no worries. I appreciate that. Law of the Wild. Fuck, that's so well. The fact that he cares. What's up, Dean? The fact that he cares. No, that sucks, bro. I'm sorry, you got fucking. I got flagged a minute ago too. So, no, really quick, yeah. And then again, if you're the law and you're trying to go after someone for the fact that they have a bunch of, they have a Maserati that they've written off, but you're struggling to get there. Again, it's perfectly reasonable to be able to, if we've determined that the Maserati in Law of the Wild's example was able to be purchased because you lied on a previous form about how much money you made, then you falsified business records to commit a larger crime, and you can get that person on all of that, which is good for like Americans too, because we're not running around committing a bunch of fraud. Dean, hello, how are you?
Oh man, I'm doing good. I'm expecting a call back from an insurance agent right now. So I couldn't start my own live, so I was like, hey, I'll just join Chris and hang out until
Welcome
I get
in.
this call.
Well, welcome in. How an insurance agent? What do you?
Yeah, just gotta insure the car, looking for a
Oh,
better rate.
oh, that's totally fair. Yeah, car insurance is a bitch, man.
How's
I
how's Chicago treating you so far?
Chicago's dope. Chicago's dope. In fact, I don't know if it's kind of off topic, but about car insurance. Yeah, dude, so I actually brought my car to Chicago, but it's super beat. And it's like about to give out, but it's here. It exists. And part of the reason like that started was because I was like I got off live one night. This was like I don't know 6 months ago or something, maybe like a year ago. I got off live one night and I like went to drive around and listen to music. It was like 2 3 a.m. and I'm at a stoplight and an intersection. I'm the only one on the road, and two cars pull up in the left turn lane next to me, and the light turns green and I start going and they turn right out of the left-hand turn lane. And so they like smash into my fucking
What?
like the front left of my car. I stop and then they both like speed off, hit and run.
What,
So
dude?
yeah. So then I like they like obviously end up calling the cops, all the stuff to like get, like get a report or whatever. And I end up finding out who did it. And they basically like it was some random high school students, and they basically spun a whole story about how like I was actually the one who hit and ran and blah 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 blah. It was so stupid, but I couldn't get them to pay, and I went to the cops and I was like, here are the people who did it. And so anyways, I ended up having to go through my insurance and be like, yeah, my car is like fucked up, help. And they cut me a check for like $1,000, and the total repair on that shit is like 4. So not gonna do anything about that, and it's just like fuck, that sucks.
Dude, that's crazy. Yeah, cars in larger cities like that, it's always a little bit,
It's pretty
always a little
it's
bit of a mess.
it's
I've actually heard about a lot of people in Chicago and LA, a lot of the larger metropolitan areas, that'll roll their windows down when they leave their car somewhere because of how frequent break-ins are. And it is significantly less expensive to keep your windows rolled down and just try not to
That's
keep
funny.
any valuables inside compared to having them rolled up and then replacing a window every like month.
Yeah, I believe that. I think in Atlanta, like our violent crime rates over the last like few years have been like much better, but like the like property crime, like the most common crime in the city of Atlanta, like the most common felony crime is like it was like car break-ins. Like it's so common. So yeah, you just gotta do what you gotta do. Anyways, insure the car. Yeah, Chicago's dope. I'm staring out a window. It's cloudy. I feel like I don't see the sun enough.
Really? You don't see it, but don't you have like super big windows in your
I
place?
do, I do, but it's like Chicago's like cloudy and it gets dark at like 4:30. So last night I was in the
Ah,
gym at like I left the gym at like 3:50 a.m. Got home, went to sleep, woke up at like 11, and now I'm here, but it's gonna be dark in like an hour, and it's been cloudy, so I'm just like I feel like I haven't seen the sun.
dude, it kind of hurts the mental health. See, that's
No,
kind
it's
of
not good. It's
that's
not.
what I've been on for like the last couple months is
It's
like
not good.
I stream and then when I'm done streaming it's dark out and I never see the goddamn sun.
Dude.
And it's really bad for your mental
Yeah.
health.
Yeah, no, I was literally just thinking about this on that like drive up because I was like, Jesus, it gets dark so early here. Like, you can get like a light, like a sunlight or whatever. It like mimics the sun. I don't know if you ever heard of this, but like apparently it's like very popular in areas like this.
What, like one of those lights that you put on the ceiling and
No, it's like
dark?
I mean it can like sit on your lamp, but it's like a specific. There's like a name, it's like a natural sunlight, where essentially like it's like perfectly mimics like what sunlight would be, and it's like supposed to really help with the mental because like you can when it's
Oh.
dark you can keep it on and try to like your brain's like thinks it's seeing sun.
Well, I need one of those.
Yeah, no, that's like a thing I think.
Yeah.
It has, yeah. Someone in the comments, Robert, shout out, said it helps a ton. I saw someone else say I have it in my office. Helps a lot. It's called a sun lamp. Yeah, the depression light, me too. The happy light, sad lamp. Yeah, people say like really helps. I mean, I don't know. I could
It
just
looks like we probably both need one of those.
yeah. Yo, Ryan, who lives in Chicago, shout out Ryan, said I'll have to check that out. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I was trying to like, read about it, and people were like, yeah, it actually works really well. So, anyways, um, how's life otherwise? Got any news, Dean?
Well, actually, yeah, I don't know how much I could share though. So got something really big coming up here soon in LA. You guys are all gonna be like, holy fucking shit, no way.
This dude's got like a studio. This dude,
N-
you're about to have like some shit going crazy.
No, it's a podcast. I just
Oh,
so
are you serious?
yeah. But I feel like people's first reaction is gonna be like, well, why is Dean doing this? And then like the second reaction will be like, oh, okay, I see exactly why.
Are you
Dean's
you're
doing
gonna like
this."
are you gonna like do like a debate? I don't know. I won't know. We'll talk about
Yeah,
that.
it's a debate,
debate,
but
yeah.
it's more like the person, and
Yeah.
it's not some like insane. It's like not Fuentes or Myron or anything.
But
It's like a very specific person that you've all seen before. Definitely, if you follow me, and then
Interesting.
maybe some bigger stuff coming up in February.
dude,
Might be
that's
putting on some gloves for some purpose, but I guess. I don't
oh
know.
my goodness, this dude's fine. That's sick though. Yeah, I mean, I was been talking to Harry about like podcast shit. Like like Harry and I want to like revamp the podcast. We were always talking about like we should start a podcast, the four of us. Why have we not done that?
For real. Well, I'm actually gonna text you their name.
Okay, text it to me. Don't sadden me, Dean. Wait, hold on. Give me like 2 seconds. Talk to my stream, Dean.
Okay, I'm back. I just had to text you the name.
No
is it Bryce?
way.
Nah.
No way, Dean. Dean, no way. No fucking way. Hold on, I can't hear you. Okay, what am I? Dude, Dean, there's absolutely no shot, brother. Are you serious?
That's gonna
so
be
funny,
so
dude.
huge.
That's hilarious. That's
It's gonna
awesome.
be so fucking huge, dude. Jeez, man. No, I wanted to tell y'all. I wanted to make a video on it. Because the video would just go crazy. But then they're like, just hold off until after we film. So, that makes sense. Maureen, thank you for the $2 on Venmo asking if
Dude,
Parker's okay. Parker's okay.
That's sick. That's sick.
Yeah.
I like it. Good choice.
Yeah, I know. I just there's so much that could be said there.
Yeah.
There's so much that will be said there. It's gonna be a very interesting, entertaining, and deranged hour and a half.
I'm excited. W Dean. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, we gotta all set up like a podcast thing, or Harry and I needs to like officially revamp the podcast. The fact that we haven't done that is absurd.
Yeah, we probably should.
We're working on it. Allie, thanks so much for $1. That's that lame excuse of a man was so insufferable. I don't know how you have this level of patience. Insanely patient and humble. What a guy. Sending you so much love. Allie, you're always so supportive always here. I appreciate you. Yeah, they say I'm like insanely attractive, smart, charismatic, and humble. Those are like my four most common things I get. Indica, 57 cents. I need a reminder of your tattoo idea. It was so good. I need to remember why. Yo, W Indica. I'm glad you mentioned that. In fact, chat, because there's 2.8 thousand amazing people in here, 2.8 thousand. I'm going to ask a question. I have not taken the step to get this tattoo. I don't have a tattoo, but I know what tattoo I want, and I need to know somebody to get the tattoo. I want an artist that can like help me design it, and I don't know why I just haven't taken that step. If anyone knows anyone, or if there's an artist in the chat who's like around the Midwest, Chicago area, I'll fucking pull up. So yeah, the tattoo I'm getting, I've decided, and I'm not a tattoo guy. Like I don't do tattoos, but this shit, there's not anything important enough I would put on my body long term except this. So I think the idea is on thigh tattoo. Slutty, I've heard. I'm gonna get a thigh tattoo of essentially like there'll be a series of several like Greek pillars, and I can like show a picture that are like kind of like white and black and like hand drawn with like some vines, and it's gonna say in some facet or another, "Democracy dies in darkness." That was originally coined by Bob Woodward, who's like who's the author who just wrote the book about Biden, but exposed corruption in the Nixon administration and the Trump administration. It's also, most people when you say it, it's like that's the Washington Post like official thing. Like it's Washington Post, Democracy Dies in Darkness. They coined it in 2017, but it's originally from Woodward. And people will say like, oh, that's dumb, but like, again, like the only thing I care about enough, I would literally work in politics in some facet the rest of my life. And like, I deeply obviously care about democracy. And like, I want to remember why the fuck I started this whole thing. So Democracy Dies in Darkness with some type of sign. So if anyone knows some tattoo people, fucking let me know. Or if you know in Atlanta, I'll do it in Atlanta too. I'll go back to Atlanta.
Do you have any family in Chicago, or are they all down in Atlanta?
Nope, everyone's down in Atlanta. My extended family's all in Cincinnati because that's where like everyone's from.
How is it being so far away from family?
It's different. I've never like moved.
Yeah.
So I think I'm still adjusting. It's really only been like 3, 4 days, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Getting into a rhythm. I feel good. I feel good.
Wow. Do you have any friends in Chicago?
I've met a few. Like I got you know Adam Mockler?
You just tell me about that.
Yeah.
Adam
So
Locklear.
yeah. So I forgot he's in Chicago. So I was pretty lucky. There's some people um associated with people you know that live here as well that I just found out about. So like yeah, I'm gonna create a web of people pretty quickly.
Good for you, man. It is it's a little scary. I remember moving out to Boulder, Colorado, with knew no one at all. And that was a little bit of a it was a big decision, man.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you asking. Like someone in the comments said, why Chicago? No reason. That's exactly why. Like I don't know anyone out here. I've only been to the city of Chicago once, and I don't have a connection here. And I was just like, you know what? I need to like be comfortable being uncomfortable and take some steps. I need like a little bit of a fresh start in life, and so I don't know, moved here
Yeah.
and trying to just be productive, be healthy. I was literally live streaming me cooking on Twitch last night. It was dope. But I really like Chicago. I mean, when I came here for the DNC, like I low key fell in love with it. Obviously, it was 75 degrees and beautiful, but my parents lived in Chicago for a long time, way before I was born. So they were like, "You shouldn't move. It's way too cold." And I was like, "No, fuck that. I'm leaving."
Yeah, I got some buddies down there in Chicago.
Really? Yeah, there's like a lot of people who live in Chicago, bro.
Yeah, yeah. My roommates from college are both from there.
Really?
Yeah, super nice place.
Nice place.
Yeah, I went down there a handful of times for a couple events. It's pretty nice. Also, for everyone in the chat asking about Parker, he's good. I actually had the same concerns as you guys about the LA fires, so I actually
Oh,
texted him like
LA fire.
last night. I was like, "Yo, bro, are you good?" Yeah, and he's all good. He's not in the Palisades, so
That's good.
I'll be out there. I'll be out there really soon too. So I mean, a
I
little
should
bit
come.
concerned about that.
I should come to LA. I haven't been to
Yeah.
LA in forever.
Yeah, now's the perfect time, man. I bet plane tickets out here are really dirt cheap.
That's true. That's true. Just come, just sit in the fire. That's right. All right. If you're a Trump supporter, well, you can come up. Seb, thanks so much for the heart. I appreciate everyone's support from the bottom of my heart. Again, if anybody does know like a tattoo artist anywhere around, I'll travel. I'll go to Atlanta, but I obviously have to like know you kind of like if you have some, I don't know. I want to get this tattoo and I don't know. I'll make a video of it and I'll pay you and I'll tip you and I love you. Banana, thanks so much for 50 cents on Venmo. Chris is 6'9", plays in NBA, patient, charismatic, good looking, Moggs Harry, great political debater. Yeah, I mean, that was a little mean. I guess, like, you could have been nicer there, but no, I'm kidding. Ned, I appreciate your 50 cents a lot. Molly, thank you so much for $5 on Venmo. I have the most amazing tattoo artist. She's Chicago-based and has done a few of mine. Let me know if you want her info. Look at that. Look at that. Molly, I'd love that. I'd love that. You can add it to the comments of the Venmo. I appreciate you so much. W's Molly in the chat. Heather, thank you so much for 10 cents. Good to see you. I sold my car and I moved to Chicago. I have zero regrets. Parking costs are criminal. Yeah, I really don't want my car here. I fuck owning a car. It's just yes, I agree. W's in the chat. I appreciate you always being supportive, Heather. Abby, thank you so much for $5.
How much are you paying for rent out there?
Too much. Emma,
I'm really curious.
I'll text you. Emma, thank you so much for 19 cents. Thank you for fighting for women's rights with all the attacks on women's reproductive rights. We need male feminist voices like yours and friends right now more than ever. So thanks for fighting for us. I love you, Emma. I love you. 19 cents. You're incredible. Annalisa, thank you so much for $2. Your sense of humor is top tier in this past year. I've loved watching you and Harry. I've learned so much. Thank you. That's very, very kind. It makes me smile. Thank you so much for $2. Neely, thanks so much for $5 on Venmo. I appreciate you for dealing with both of these infuriatingly annoying MAGA. Oops. Enjoy Chicago. Yo, Neely, I appreciate you so, so much. Brenna, thanks so much for $2. Guarantees every state is a republic form of government. Democracy is the guaranteed form of republic government. Yo, shout out. Brenna, I appreciate you being here and fucking dealing with that. And lastly, Kelly, $1. This dude is the worst. He's literally arguing with a lawyer. I bet he's a sovereign citizen type. That's true. I got that vibe. Much love. Yeah, I appreciate you so much. Use W's in the chat for everyone. Yeah, Dean, I think, again, like I've talked a little bit about like some of my like financial strifes leading up to like TikTok. I think that I've been incredibly blessed. And I always say like how grateful I am for a platform like this and people being supportive and being able to like do something like move. Rent is certainly expensive. It's actually probably like if you were just to be like open and transparent, I think if you were to look at like my finances currently, you'd say like you can't afford what you're doing right now. And I think it was one of those things where it was like, I'll be fine. Like it's like, it's expensive, and it's like obviously moving's a lot, and I have to, blah 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 blah. But it'll definitely be fine. But I kind of made the decision that, like, look, if I lived here for 6 months and I went back to Atlanta with fucking nothing, like not a dollar, fucking nothing, like it's okay with me as long as I like, obviously, like I want to be like, safe. I'm not gonna like fucking go into like a massive amount of debt. I've been in some high interest credit card debt before, and that shit is not fun. And obviously, like as a 22-year-old, it'd really be nice to like save some fucking money. But I don't know. I think it's really just about like, I had to make the decision for myself to just like, I need some like personal growth, dude. I need.
Yeah,
I
it's,
just
it's a
it
good
just
thing
has
that
to
you're
be.
spending money on because you know.
I had to accept that.
Someone may say it's like a financially bad decision to spend so much money on a place to live, but it's not just a place to live.
Jesus.
It's an entirely new atmosphere with new people in a different place where you could learn and grow. So that's awesome, man. I've always wanted to move out to a big city. My inevitable goal isn't like a big mansion on like the coast or something. It is a high-rise apartment with with ceiling to floor windows.
Yeah,
that's the goal for me.
Yeah, dude. It's like, I mean, I was obviously like born and raised like in a city, so I've always been like city. But this is like, hold on,
Dude,
This is like the
beautiful kitchen. Oh my
thank you.
god,
This is like the coolest fucking shit I've ever gotten to experience. Now, that's like my view every day, just sitting on live, like playing fucking video games and shit. Now, I think it is like, again, like the other advantage to a city like Chicago's like a fairly inexpensive um like fairly like inexpensive city. Like you'd be surprised at like
bro.
how
That kitchen's fucking nice.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, you'd be surprised in general, like how like generally not expensive this place is, especially compared to like any other major city. And it's one of the reasons I like chose Chicago, and like that's why I lived in Atlanta for a long time, because again, like still some of the cheapest rent prices in the country, and like I'm not fucking gonna pay some ridiculous rent. So.
Yeah, I mean, I bet it's beautiful at night. See, for me, whenever I'm looking for a nice place to live, the number one thing that matters to me is a nice kitchen. I love a nice kitchen.
That's right.
I think that a nice kitchen means everything.
That's right. No, I agree. Do you cook a lot, dude?
No. No, I don't. Every morning I wake up and I make myself a really nice a nice coffee. You know what I mean? So
nice.
The kitchen is like the first place I am in the morning, and I just, for whatever reason, I really love like a really nice environment. And like and you're right, I don't cook a lot, so I don't know why I love it so much. But I do. It
makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Like again, like you gotta invest in some things are like mental. It's like you just have to like might not make logical sense to other people, but like if that's the first place you touch in the morning to make a coffee, it can set the whole mood for the day, bro. That's important. That could be worth fucking thousands of dollars right there for you.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree 100%.
It's the heart of the home, man.
Heart of the home, someone says. Someone said you should cook
that.
on live. Yeah, dude, I was cooking on live last night. And shout out, I think, Layla, who literally posted a whole thing of me cooking on live. It's a sick video. Nice job cutting that. I appreciate you. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Dude, there's some good editors. Layla and Kinsey.
Dude, they're killer, dude. They are fucking killer. By the way, someone said, W Chicago, enjoy the city. Thank you. Yeah, someone said that like don't show the window, I could get doxxed. Yeah, I think we're kind of past that point, unfortunately. People know where I am, so really like not great. I think I've been very open on social media, and I will continue to be until I get burned, which is probably a bad mentality, but I try to just be a good person. I don't fucking know. I like to. I try to just be like
likely that guy.
I try.
I've actually like really publicly spoke about like the city that I live in.
Yeah.
What's nearby, even though it's really super duper small, and like I'm okay. I'm okay up until this point. In fact, it was kind of scary because I think the most viral clip that's going around to me right now is just calling out this MAGA idiot on his BS about wanting to pull up on me in person.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is where I am. This is where I am. Here's where this mall is where I want to meet you at.
Right.
And it went like viral on fucking Reddit. And nothing bad happened.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta trust. I think that my Harry's been like swatted a lot and like his family has been affected by it, and I think like that's the one thing that like would like, it's like if it's a me thing, it's like it is what it is. But if it's like like other people start to get affected by it, then it's like where I draw the line.
Yeah,
And I'm like, like this is like not acceptable. So I don't know. And like, normally it's fine. You don't really, I've never really, I've had like a couple bad experiences in person. I don't know, like if you have like, 'cause it's usually like Harry and I have been like, so when Harry and I were in North Carolina, we essentially like, okay, so when we were in North Carolina, and this also happened in Wisconsin, we're like, when we'll go out to bars and like, we'll just go, we're just like, we're gonna go fucking just get drunk. We're gonna go out 11 p.m. on a Friday, just vibe. And like in Wisconsin and Raleigh specifically, a lot of people were like, "Yo, that's Harry." Some people were like, "Hey, that's Chris," but you can, which by the way, I love all of you. You guys are the best. But no, like when Harry and I were like in a bar in Raleigh, like we're sitting there like talking to some people because they came up to us because we were wearing like Harris stuff, and then two dudes with like cameras pulled straight up and were like, "Look, it's the two kids paid $200,000 by the DNC," and they were like yelling. And my only thing is that like I'm never
Really?
like I'm never like I'm never like aggressive. I'm not upset. The only thing I really don't like is when people like pull out phones in public. It's like the one thing, because it's like, bro, like Harry and I are having some drinks. It's like the setting where we're not like on camera. Like, could you like that's kind of, bro? Like, I don't like that. I don't like that, especially when like if Harry and I are sitting in a bar, like like intoxicated at 1 a.m. and it's like if someone's like filming us, it's like, all right, bro. Like, what if like I don't know, like people, I don't like that shit. So like the only thing is like I ended up like immediately like my first reaction always is like I go straight up to him. I'm like grabbing his phone camera. I'm not trying to take his phone. I'm grabbing. I'm like don't like I'm like we can talk. You can yell at us. Like that's totally cool. Just don't record. Like quit with the phones. Quit with the phones. And I basically had like both of their phones separate, like grabbing them. Like bro, relax, relax. And then we ended up getting kicked out of the bar. And I was like, they were like, I was like, all right. I just didn't want to be recorded, but it's fine. I didn't fight. I was like, all right, we'll leave. I don't want to deal with this anyways. So yeah, or like in like Wisconsin, like same thing in like Wisconsin. I honestly felt bad, but like in Wisconsin, or no, Detroit. It was Detroit. Oh, and Dean. I think Dean might have had to take that call, but it was like Detroit where like this dude saw Harry and basically like didn't like him, said something about not liking him, and I was just there listening, and then all of a sudden I saw someone behind him basically like pull out a phone, and immediately, yeah, Dean got the call. Immediately the dude behind Harry who started recording, I go up and I'm like immediately again hand to the phone. I'm like, bro, come on, like you can be here, that's cool, you're cool, like I'm not mad, just don't record. And I felt bad because he was actually nice. He was actually like a Democrat. He didn't like dislike us, and he was like very apologetic. I'm like, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a dick, I'm very much a people pleaser, like I don't want to do this. I was like, I just don't like phone. If you ask to take a picture, that's totally cool. But I'm like, just don't like, I'm like, I just don't like, and it's like, I think it's specific to like private, what I view as like a private place, because like people have like people on social media can like take things like very quickly, like the wrong, not the wrong way, but people can take like, you could already imagine that if I was in a bar or Harry was in a bar and it's like 1 a.m. and we're drinking and maybe we're like talking to some people and we're drunk, like if a quick video of that like got recorded, like you could perceive a lot from that, and then people are like, oh, look at the two, it's just like you're not trying to fucking, I don't know how to explain it. Whatever, it doesn't matter, doesn't fucking matter. It's not a big deal. It's not like we're certainly not famous. It's not like, oh fucking, it doesn't matter. Like I love everybody. I always tell people, come up to me if you see me. That's like, I was just trying to tell stories. Whatever. It's okay to have boundaries and privacy. So that's the problem. Too much of a